How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another Marvel Snap Community Spotlight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Savage Yeti. I have my own YouTube channel where I do Marvel Snap stuff, bundle breakdowns, day one deck videos for cards like Miss Marvel, deck videos in general for fun decks, meta decks, all that kind of stuff. So if you haven't checked out my channel before and you like this content, make sure you go check out my channel when you're done with this video. But Second Dinner has asked me to introduce you all to the new season pass card for the month of November, Miss Marvel. She is a 4-cost 5 power with an ongoing adjacent locations where your cards have unique costs have +5 power. Now this card, along with Annihilus, have been the two cards that I have been most excited for the month of November. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that Lockdown is one of my favorite deck archetypes, and Miss Marvel slots in perfectly into that deck archetype, where you can lock down locations with Storm or with Professor X and then get extra reach if you don't have enough already. And I'm just super excited for this card. Now, at its high end, this card is a 4-cost 15 power. It's a 4-cost Doctor Doom, basically, that don't take up 2 slots. And obviously, with that power, it needs some downside. And that downside being is in those 2 adjacent locations, you need to have unique costed cards. So you can't have, say, 2 1-drops in one of those slots, or that location specifically will not get her buff. So you need to be careful about how you build your deck, what you put in your deck, what you play at specific locations in order to get full value out of her. And so the question becomes, how easy is it to do that? And the easier that gets, the better the card is. It's important to note that the effect only happens if you have a card at that location. I know a lot of people were thinking that if you have no cards over there, that counts as unique costed cards. It does not. You have to have at least 1 card over on the adjacent locations to get her power. And the base costs of the cards are the only thing that matters. So for instance, if you get a discounted Miles Morales that you play for 1, that card counts as a 4-drop, not a 1-drop. Just wanted to clarify for those of you who wanted some clarifications. Also, some counters to Miss Marvel is Junk as a whole. The Junk archetype is very popular in today's meta, and if they can flood your side of the board or some specific locations with more rocks, with more stuff, with more 3-drops, if you already have 3-drops over there, like Green Goblin, it can really mess with your Miss Marvel. So Junk is a pretty good counter to this deck. And then of course we have the cards that affect ongoing specifically, like Rogue, Enchantress, Echo. If you're telegraphing your Miss Marvel coming down in the middle location, it's a little bit easy for them to anticipate it or just react to it when it is down. So some downsides to the card. However, I think there are ways to play around it with things like Cosmo. You can play your Miss Marvel behind it. You can play your Miss Marvel behind cards like Invisible Woman to try to dodge Enchantresses and everything. So I think this card has a lot of upside. I think it's going to be a lot better than people think. And I'm super excited to give it a shot. So I brought 2 decks for you guys. The first deck is a Guardians Lockdown list. That's the deck I'm most excited to try her in. Again, big fan of Lockdown. Been really looking forward to her coming out so I can try her in Lockdown. And the second list is just a really fun idea and a fun list. I actually got the idea from Glazer over at the Snap Judgment podcast. He sent me this list a while back, and I'm really excited to give it a shot. So I'm gonna talk over the first list with you guys, the Lockdown list, show you guys some gameplay, and then talk about the second deck, and then show you guys gameplay of that. So let's get to the list. All right, so for our first list, we are playing a Lockdown list. And the idea of this deck is to use Storm and Professor X to lock down 2 locations, preferably the left and the right location, and then play Miss Marvel to get extra reach into those locations, win some of those locations with maybe Drax or Iron Lad. You can use Jeff to jump over into each of those locations, and that is your main goal of winning. Turn 1, you're looking to play Nebula. Turn 2, probably Jeff, just another 2-drop, maybe Medusa to start getting some power in middle lane. Turn 3, either left or the right lane, you're looking to play Storm. On turn 4, you can either play something into that Storm lane, like an Iron Lad or a Drax, or you can get your Miss Marvel out on turn 4 in the middle lane. Turn 5, you're looking to play Professor X to lock down the opposite lane as Storm. And then on turn 6, if you haven't played Miss Marvel, you're looking to play her middle with some other 2-drop, maybe Jeff if you haven't played him yet. Or you're looking to play one of your 6-drops like Doctor Doom to reach into the Storm lane if you can. Or if you have Alioth, play Alioth to win the middle lane. Now, I realize a lot of you probably don't have Alioth, Another option to play instead of him is Claw to get some extra reach into some of those other lanes. If you play Professor X, it is only 3 power on turn 5, so having Claw to get that extra little bit over in that lane is going to be a big help. And then you can swap out one of the 2 drops with either Daredevil, which may be a good idea already, or you can play Psylocke to ramp slightly. If you're playing Professor X and Claw, you can play Psylocke on turn 3 and then get one of those 5 drops out, probably an early Professor X on turn 4, and just start your lockdown from there. That's it. Let's get to some gameplay and then I'll talk about the second deck. Double Professor X. All right. I don't think we're gonna be able to play both of them unless we get like Pegasus or something. Nova Roma. We have the Miss Marvel, so I'm liking the lockdown with Storm into probably an Iron Lad. Storm Iron Lad into a Professor X seems pretty decent. And then we can use Miss Marvel to get that surprise power in each of the other lanes. So let's Storm right. Possibly Professor X left, depending on what's there. After the Storm, we can play... We can either go to try to win the Storm lane. I do like how we have Dr. Doom. So we can hold Miss Marvel for the extra power, but we do have Doom to reach into flooding. So maybe we play Miss Marvel here. That'll reach into flooding. We can lock down left with Professor X. That'll give us 8 power over in that direction. It could be enough. And then we have Dr. Doom for the last turn to reach further into flooding if we need it, which it looks like we will. So Professor X left, looking to kind of just get lucky that he doesn't play into there. And then we'll Doom to reach further into flooding. And I think we're good. Yeah, just the Doom. Trying to think of what else we can do here, but the Doom just... We don't have Jeff. Jeff may have been like a better play if we had Jeff and Drax mid. Low, not enough power for the Mega Red, and the extra reach with both Miss Marvel and Dr. Doom win the game. This is ideal scenario for Miss Marvel. Okay, and deck number 2. I know it looks like a little bit of a weird list. You're running Wasp, you're running Yellow Jacket. Those are there so you can populate the 2 left and right lanes with at least 1 card. The idea of this deck is to stack as much ongoing in the middle lane as possible. So an idea here is Invisible Woman in the middle lane. Invisible Woman is really good at protecting your other ongoing cards from things like Enchantress, from Rogue, things like that in the middle lane. So they kind of hide behind her. But like Invisible Woman, middle lane. On turn 4, Miss Marvel into that middle lane, followed by a turn 5 Mystique to copy Miss Marvel, and then a turn 6 Onslaught to double the ongoing effect of both of them. You'll get the 5 power from Miss Marvel, you get the 5 power from Mystique, that's 10 power total. You double it, that's 20 power in each of the opposing lanes. That is where Wasp and Yellow Jacket come in. If you drop both of them, you can put 1 on each side and then get 20 power on each side. It'll give you 21 and 22 power. It is an unlikely combo to pull off. However, I have been testing this deck a little bit, and you do get actually some really cool combinations of these ongoing cards. You're not necessarily going to pull off that combo every time, but it is very easy to say on turn 2, play a Daredevil in one of those lanes. Turn 3, you can play a Mr. Fantastic. into a turn 4 Miss Marvel or Iron Lad to try to copy something. If you get a Miss Marvel in the middle lane, turn 5 you can play Iron Man in that middle lane, and then you can play Onslaught on top of that, and you can win middle and one of the other side lanes. And then obviously you have Claw to just get a lot of power on one of the lanes. It looks like a lot of fun. I've played it quite a bit on this server, and I've been having a lot of fun as well. So I just wanted to give you guys this deck. It only has one Series 5 card in Iron Lad. Everything else is, except for Miss Marvel, everything else is pool 3 and below. So it's really accessible, and a lot of you will be able to play it right away. Make sure you give this deck a shot. I'm gonna put some gameplay after this. Thank you to Second Dinner for letting me do this. Make sure you go check out my channel if you guys like this content. And as usual, if you love all things Marvel Snap, make sure you like and subscribe here and on my channel. I'll see you in the next one. All right, so we have Miss Marvel, we have Mystique. And the monster actually gives us a card in the left, so we're not have to worry about it. And then we have Onslaught Citadel middle. This could get kind of crazy. If we can get Onslaught, that would be wild. Hopefully that can happen. We're still just sitting. Miss Marvel next turn, Mystique the following turn, and then throw Yellow Jacket down somewhere. And hopefully we can top deck the Onslaught. I think we're gonna play Wasp, or we're gonna play Yellow Jacket now. Oh wait, ooh, almost screwed that up. We're gonna play Yellow Jacket now. We're gonna play Miss Marvel. Next turn, we're gonna get the Mystique off. I just don't want something to happen where we can't get this lane full for whatever reason. So into the Mystique, and I guess we'll play the Daredevil just to play the Daredevil. And then we're just hoping for a top deck Onslaught. That would be wild. Still, this would be if we had Onslaught. Like, that's already a crazy amount of power. We did not top deck Onslaught, but we can get even more crazy with Iron Man. So that's what we're gonna do. It's so much power. I say we're gonna get crazy. It's not even gonna be that much. It's gonna be what, 20?
I am Iron Man.
Yeah. Magneto does not pull anything. So this is the kind of numbers, not middle, but 30 and 24. Minus the 9, but you're looking at like 21, 22 range. If you get Miss Marvel into Mystique into Onslaught. We just happen to have Onslaught handed to us, so that's kind of funny. Onslaught Citadel, not in the correct spot for us though. But we do have Claw, so that can give us a good amount there. So Invisible Woman mid into the Miss Marvel. We're still gonna try to get our little combo off here. Missing Mystique and Onslaught though. I guess we'll go Mr. Fantastic. That's going to give us a good amount of power. Then we will Miss Marvel. We can then even look to... Hold on. We can play Miss Marvel here. Give it the buffs right. Then we can play Claw in Citadel. Again, give the buffs mid, and then look to play Iron Man or something. Maybe an Onslaught over there. So this actually seems really good. Yellow Jacket gets removed. Professor X seems like it would be a smart play. However, and hear me out here, this isn't the correct play. But if we can get Iron Lad to hit either Mystique or Onslaught, then we can play Mystique or Onslaught next turn. That would be a crazy amount of power, and that seems like a lot of fun. I want to try it. Moon Girl, Nova, what are we hitting? We're hitting an Onslaught. Perfect. And then we're playing another Onslaught on top of this. Do we win? Does it win? I don't think so. Probably not. But is it what we're doing? Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think we win. We shouldn't have, but we do. 129 power. That's ridiculous. Anyways, this deck is more, I just wanted to show you guys some fun stuff and some crazy stuff that you can do with Ms. Marvel. I hope I convince you guys to pick up Ms. Marvel and pick up the season pass. I'm looking forward to playing with this card on actual ladder and seeing what other people come up with. So check it out, try it out, check out my channel once again. See you guys.